Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I would like to give a ministerial statement on Fiji Airways, our national carrier, which of course is a limited liability company in which the Fijian government holds 51% shares, which in recent times has become a true success story. Madam Speaker, by way of information for the Honourable Members of Parliament, the Fijian government owns 51%, Qantas owns 46.3%, Air New Zealand owns 1.9%, Government of Kiribati owns 0.27%, Government of Tonga owns 0.27%, Government of Samoa owns 0.12%, and Government of Nauru owns 0.08% of Fiji Airways. Its strong current financial position, Mr. Speaker, the culmination of 4 successive years of record profit, is unique in the international aviation industry for a small national carrier. In 2010, the Fijian government took a number of critical reform measures aimed at providing the airline with a solid foundation to enable it to return to profitability and to bolster our tourism industry. In 2013, the Board of Directors and a new management moved away from the old Air Pacific identity and rebranded the airline Fiji Airways to embrace the airline's Fijian roots, heritage, and also it being the national carrier. As a result of a collaborative approach between its main shareholder, management and staff, Fiji Airways is now one of only a handful of national airlines which are profitable and indeed growing, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, in 2011, Air Pacific, which became Fiji Airways, made the decision not to renew the lease on the aging Boeing 76 aircraft with the aircraft leaving service in January 2012. And to allow the lease of its 2 aging Boeing 747 aircraft to lapse in July and November 2013. The Boeing 767 aircraft was costing Air Pacific over US $500,000 a month in lease rental alone, significantly above market rates for an 18-year-old aircraft. The Boeing 747, Madam Speaker, were each costing Air Pacific between US $400,000 and US $500,000 in monthly lease rentals, again significantly above market rates for an aircraft that were 24 years old on leaving the Air Pacific fleet, which became Fiji Airways. With 4 engines, the Boeing 747 fuel use was almost double that of its twin-engine Airbus A330-200s, and with the Boeing size and weight, almost all other operating costs were higher, not aided by the advancing years. The introduction of the Airbus A330-200, Madam Speaker, by Air Pacific in 2013 for Fiji Airways, coinciding with the rebranding of the national carrier to Fiji Airways, has saved the company millions of dollars, with ownership cost of the new aircraft being below that of the old and operating costs being materially low. Additionally, the new fleet has allowed a more flexible network growth plan using the right-sized aircraft as opposed to buying a full aircraft in the peak and an empty aircraft in the trough. The transition from Boeing 767 and 747 aircraft to new A330-200s has given Fiji Airways customers and the country a world-class product at a better cost. The airline's wide-body or long-range twin-aisle jet aircraft fleet is currently made up of 4 Airbus A330 aircraft, 3 of which are the A330-200 series and the 4th a larger 300 series. As announced a few days ago, Madam Speaker, that the airline will now add 2 interim A330-200 series aircraft this year on a short-term lease for 4 years. This will enable Fiji Airways to start new direct flights to Tokyo or Narita, Japan, and increase frequency weekly flights to existing long-haul destinations like Singapore and San Francisco. Madam Speaker, the first A330-200 series aircraft, which kick-started the entire fleet modernization program at Fiji Airways, were purchased with initial financing assistance from FNPF, and it was a groundbreaking partnership between our National Superannuation Fund and our national carrier that paved the way for the fleet upgrade and has brought healthy return to Fijian citizens via FNPF. Madam Speaker, Fiji Airways' narrow-body or short-medium-range single-aisle jet fleet is made up of 5 Boeing 737NG or new generation aircraft, 4 of which are the 737-800 series and 1 700 series. In November 2016, Fiji Airways and the Fijian government announced the selection of the state-of-the-art Boeing 737 MAX 8 to replace the existing 5 Boeing 737NG aircraft beginning in November 2018. The airline will receive 2 737 MAX aircraft this year, with the remaining 3 to arrive in 2019. This significant fleet upgrade will result in Fiji Airways having one of the world's youngest aircraft fleet by the end of 2019. The commercial terms of the deal Fiji Airways brokered for these new aircraft are widely regarded by the industry as a landmark achievement. In fact, better than what most large airlines are able to achieve. Fiji Airways followed a rigorous, thorough and transparent process to evaluate, select and negotiate the optimum solution for its narrow-body fleet replacement, and they negotiated hard to achieve the best result for the airline and the Fijian people. The deal comprises a 12-year sale and leaseback financing package involving Boeing, the aircraft manufacturer, GE Capital Aviation Services, the aircraft lessor, and the CMF International, the engine manufacturer. The tripartite deal, which simultaneously leverages the offers from the aircraft manufacturer and the financier and engine manufacturer, may well be a world first. Madam Speaker, Fiji Airways will be the first operator of this latest technology, fuel-efficient type aircraft in the Pacific region, including Australia and New Zealand. Fiji Airways will be the first to fly the 737 MAX 8s commercially to airports like Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, Auckland, Christchurch, Wellington, Nuku'alofa, Apia, Tarawa and Honolulu. The MAX 8 has improved air operating economics and offers fuel savings of 15% compared to the previous generation of aircraft. Its enhanced interior, featuring reduced cabin noise, improved lighting, more overhead cabin space, the state-of-the-art in-flight entertainment in both the businesses and economy class cabins will be well received by the Fiji Airways customers. Madam Speaker, just like the rigorous and thorough selection and negotiation process for the 737 MAX 8s, Fiji Airways management has embarked on a campaign to evaluate selecting a wide-body jet aircraft type to augment or replace its Airbus A330 aircraft to meet its short and long-term growth requirements. As Fiji Airways, Madam Speaker, plans for an 8 to 10% growth in passenger numbers on year. It requires aircraft with a new generation technology with even greater range and payload capabilities. Currently, the airline is engaging both aircraft manufacturers, Airbus and Boeing, for a future wide-body aircraft solution, with the candidates being the enhanced Airbus A330neo, or the new engine option, or the A350 models, or the Boeing 787 Dreamliner. Fiji Airways will make a decision later in 2018 on its choice of wide-body aircraft. I can tell you, Madam Speaker, the A350 is a beautiful aircraft in this respect. Madam Speaker, looking at locally though, domestically, it is also important to note that the fleet modernization is taking place across the entire Fiji Airways group, which includes the domestic carrier Fiji Link. The small domestic airports served by Fiji Link are best suited to propeller aircraft. Fiji Link operates 3 brand new turboprop propeller ATR aircraft, which are 2 ATR 72 series and 1 ATR 42 series. In August 2017, Fiji Link announced that it would acquire 3 brand new Twin Otter series 400 turboprop aircraft from manufacturer Viking Limited. We are pleased to inform the Parliament, Madam Speaker, that the airline has now taken delivery of all 3 brand new Twin Otter aircraft. We also are delighted to confirm today that Fiji Link will acquire a 4th brand new Twin Otter aircraft by September 2018, making Fiji Link the operator of one of the world's youngest turboprop fleets. This is yet another major milestone for our national carrier and a great product enhancement for all guests flying domestically within Fiji. Madam Speaker, as allocated in the budget, Madam Speaker, in a major development for Fijian aviation, in December 2017, Fiji Airways broke ground on the site of the future Fiji Aviation Academy. This is a major initiative, Madam Speaker, and undertaking by the national airline to open an aviation training facility in Nadi, complete with cutting-edge aviation training equipment and infrastructure. This includes 3 simulator bays, which will house the 3 CAE full flight simulators for the Boeing 737 MAX, the Airbus A330, and a 3rd full flight simulator for an aircraft type to be determined later, once the jet wide-body augmentation or replacement campaign has been successfully completed. So, for example, if we go for the Dreamliner, then we get a Dreamliner simulator put in. If we go for the A350, we'll get the simulator for that. Madam Speaker, in just 12 months, actually, from now, Fiji Airways in Fiji will have a world-class aviation training facility, offering the highest standard of pilot training for Fijian pilots and indeed international students. Phase 1 of the project will see the installation of the simulators for Fiji Airways' own pilot training requirements. Phase 2 will see the establishment of a flight school and the academy offering ab initio pilot training for young students. Phase 3 of the project will see the establishment of a cabin crew training facility at the academy. Apart from the benefits and cost efficiencies for Fiji Airways' own pilot training, because currently they have to go to Singapore and other places, the Fijian economy will also get a boost, with an influx of foreign students arriving in Fiji to use the academy facilities as well as other services within the Nadi area, from hotels to transportation and restaurants. Madam Speaker, the Fiji Aviation Academy project will ensure Fiji Airways continues to maintain the highest levels of safety. Both airlines, Fiji Airways and Fiji Link, have the highest safety certification for commercial aircraft, which is the IATA Operational Safety Audit, or IOSA. Fiji Link is the only domestic airline in Fiji to hold this certification, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, there's a number of organizational realignments that have taken place, which I will come back to when I have some time left, Madam Speaker. However, Madam Speaker, it is very important to note, and I'd like to talk about people development in Fiji Airways. Fiji Airways is continuing to develop its people with both management and staff, undergoing extensive service and systematic leadership training. Such training from the likes of world-renowned service expert Ron Kaufman and his Up Your Service organization is designed to ensure that customer service remains at the center of Fiji Airways' focus. This is done by integrating modern customer service delivery and recovery tactics with our world-renowned Fijian hospitality in the sky, Madam Speaker. As you know, Madam Speaker, all Fiji Airways and Fiji Link cabin crews are Fijians, allowing both airlines to offer an authentic Fijian experience to guests the moment they step on board, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, cabin crew remains one of the most sought-after positions in Fiji by young people. Just by way of example, in 2017, Fiji Airways and Fiji Link held recruitment drives for cabin crew. Over 3,000 young Fijians applied for 80 open positions. This clearly shows that it's an airline of choice and indeed is seen as a good employer. Madam Speaker, in 2016, Fiji Airways hired 35 cabin crew, while Fiji Link hired 6. In 2017, Fiji Airways and Fiji Link hired 22 and 4 cabin crew respectively. Madam Speaker, in 2018, 80 more Fijians will join Fiji Airways as cabin crew, while 8 will join Fiji Link. This means that within a span of less than 3 years, 155 Fijians have joined or will join both airlines to support the company's growing operational requirements. I'm only talking about the flight attendants here, Madam Speaker. Of course, we have requirements for engineers, etc. Madam Speaker, Fiji Airways remains one of Fiji's largest employers, with a total of 1,395 employees at present. The airline continues to generate more employability for our people. In 2017, Fiji Airways hired 25 pilots, 7 of whom were Fijians, while Fiji Link hired 7 pilots, 4 of whom were Fijians. Once the Fiji Aviation Academy, I mentioned earlier on, Madam Speaker, commences operations in 2018, it will allow Fiji Airways to accelerate the development of command quality Fijian pilots and increase Fijian pilot intakes. Currently, of the 260 total pilots across both airlines, 164 are Fijians and 96 are expatriates. Madam Speaker, given the paramount importance of safety in Fiji Airways operations and the quality of its pilots, one cannot understate the need for a considered and sustainable move towards increasing the number of Fijian pilots at Fiji Airways, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, there has of course been various numerous salary increments over the company itself. I'm just mindful of the time. Madam Speaker, one area that of course is very important for us is the service delivery. As you know, that previously at times Air Pacific used to be called Air Pathetic. We obviously need to get rid of that, the persona or that cliched term that was targeted against Air Pacific. Fiji Airways, of course, as we know, conjures up feelings of national pride. After, Madam Speaker, the introduction of work as one to take the next step up, after just 1 year of its service education program, where more than 86% of all staff underwent intensive workshops, the airline reduced its overall complaints by 65.87% compared to 2016. In this period, Fiji Airways increased guest compliments by 22%, while Fiji Link increased guest compliments by 74%. The overall Net Promoter Score, a measure of overall guest satisfaction to the point where guests become advocates, has increased by 3% points from 47 to 50%. This places Fiji Airways, Madam Speaker, well above the industry average. The newly opened Fiji Airways Premier Lounge, which I'm sure some of the members of this Parliament have enjoyed, has been a huge hit with the guests, and it has an average 2018 Net Promoter Score of 86, the highest score the company has seen in its history, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I'd like to very quickly now talk about various other initiatives that Fiji Airways has taken. But firstly, just before that, Madam Speaker, I'd like to talk about the network and expanded partnerships. Madam Speaker, in 2017 saw significant growth in Fiji Airways network, where it flies to, how often it flies, and who it connects with. Beyond the introduction of new routes like Adelaide and increase in weekly services to Singapore and San Francisco, Fiji Airways, Madam Speaker, grew its partnership network exponentially. This has been done through meaningful code share and interline agreements with existing and new airline partners. Fiji Airways currently code shares with 11 airlines and has 33 interline agreements. Code share partners include Qantas, Jet Airways, American Airlines, Cathay Pacific, Alaska Airlines, Hong Kong Airlines, Jetstar Asia, Jetstar New Zealand, Solomon Airlines, Samoa Airways, and Air Vanuatu. As a result, Fiji Airways and Fiji Link now serve 108 destinations in 17 countries. Madam Speaker, this means that in addition to flying to Australia, New Zealand, the USA, Hong Kong, Singapore, Samoa, Tonga, Tuvalu, Kiribati, Vanuatu, and Solomon Islands, of course, and now soon to be Narita, you can fly on the Fiji Airways designator code FJ to Canada, United Kingdom, India, Japan, and Thailand. Fiji Airways, Madam Speaker, will also shortly announce another major code share deal which will increase its reach even further into Asia, mainland China, and Europe. These are the new and emerging markets that Tourism Fiji can target to grow visitor arrivals to Fiji. Japan will be the newest Fiji Airways direct route starting on the 3rd of July of this year, Madam Speaker, which will facilitate huge growth in the number of Japanese visitors too. Madam Speaker, Fiji Airways has recently signed a code-share agreement with Singapore Airlines and Silk Air that will provide more convenient connections for customers traveling to Fiji from more than 20 destinations in Asia, Europe through the Singapore hub. Under the agreement, Singapore Airlines and Silk Air customers can access Fiji Airways non-stop flights between Singapore and Nadi, including the airline's third weekly seasonal service that was launched on 4th of April 2018, Madam Speaker. Of course, they can travel code-share flights between Nadi and the 3 domestic destinations, including Suva, Lambasa, and Savu-Savu. Madam Speaker, also, I'd like to talk a little bit more about the finance side of things too, Madam Speaker. All in all, 2017 was a milestone year for Fiji Airways. In March, Fiji Airways announced its financial results for 2017. The Fiji Airways Group announced a record profit before tax of $95.8 million, following which the airline's board approved one of the largest staff profit share payouts in Fijian history. Each staff member, from those who work on the hangar floor to those in the administration offices, received $4,400 as a profit share, of course with the deductions in place. All management staff received no less than $9,900 each. Madam Speaker, such positive developments are only possible through a collaborative approach between shareholders, management and staff. And while 2017 is a good financial year, we are mindful that aviation is one of the most cutthroat industries in the world. Fuel amounts to 30 to 40% of airlines' costs, and volatile fuel pricing movements remain one of the biggest challenges for airlines, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, we obviously have been condemned for the past 2 years, and the opposition has continuously questioned the $18 million marketing partnership we've struck with Fiji Airways. Madam Speaker, it is our national carrier. We need to provide support to it as and when required, and which we did through a marketing campaign. And Madam Speaker, I'm happy to announce also that as a result of that route now doing well, with the increased frequency to Singapore, that $18 million is no longer required. It won't be part of the budget feature, Madam Speaker. But the point is, Madam Speaker, the point is, in their short-term political point scoring, they kept on harping on about it, not taking a long-term view. We took a long-term view. We've consolidated Singapore. Singapore is not only about tourism numbers, Madam Speaker, it's also about positioning Fiji as a hub in the Pacific, whether for financial purposes, IT purposes, administrative purposes, international agency purposes. That's one of the reasons why Fiji has the largest UN agency hub in the Pacific because of its connectivity. All of these things interconnect, Madam Speaker, and I wish, Madam Speaker, that they realize that we need to carry out these initiatives in the nascent period of this particular new route, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, of course, Fiji Airways, through its corporate social responsibility, has given $1 million to the Prime Minister's Rehabilitation Fund. They also adopted the school after Cyclone Winston in Tavini, the Tavini South Primary and Secondary Schools, both of which are remotely located, Madam Speaker. They planted 5,000 trees, Madam Speaker, as part of their COP23 initiative that they have. Madam Speaker, the reality is that I'd like to once again thank all the staff of Fiji Airways. I'd like to thank everybody who contributed to the success, and we wish our national carrier, and indeed we need to be proud of our national carrier. Thank you.